on this episode of King of the Court.
We're going to talk about PPA Finals, and then we're going to go into MLP.
What an insane facility.
Beautiful.
Like, it's unreal. I didn't like how they put the two best teams in the pool against each other in the first match.
Yeah.
Like, why would PPA protect them?
Yeah.
That is weird to me.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. I am your host, Tyler Leung, and we have...
Jimmy Miller in the house.
In the house. In the flesh. I cannot believe it.
Flesh.
You know what I was thinking to myself, which was kind of crazy, is that I was home and you were at a tournament.
Tyler.
Normally the rules are reversed.
I had so many people come up to me and they were like, you're here and Tyler's not.
What'd you say? Did you make a joke?
Yeah, I did. I said, yeah, like he can never give me crap again about this.
Yeah, I'm sure I still can.
Because I was there.
At a tournament and I was not.
And you were not, and you were missed.
Thank you.
Next year. Finals.
Finals, it's happening.
Yeah, San Clemente, by the way, what an insane facility.
Beautiful.
Like it's unreal. Like it's almost...
You should have already been there for one of the previous MLPs that you said you were going to go to.
Fair.
But you never did.
That's fair.
So this is your first time, even though it should have been your second time.
It was my first time. Yeah, I mean, the setup's great. The facility's unreal. The center court was perfect. A lot of stairs, though. It's bad for my knees, but...
All right, first and foremost, we'd like to give a big shout out to The Pickler, our title sponsor.
Yes.
They have franchises all over the world. Go to thepickler.com to learn more information about that. And they also have a e-commerce site called thepicklershop.com where you can go purchase any paddle that you want and use code KOTC to save yourself some money.
Yes.
Thank you, Pickler. All right, this last week, so much pickleball.
Tons.
So much pickleball.
I watched hours and hours at pickleball.
Okay.
I commentated.
You were commentating. I don't know how you got that, how they still kept you around after the previous one from Julian Arnold.
I know. Crazy.
Okay, so we are... we're just kind of going on a limb on this. We don't really have this scripted. We're going to talk about PPA Finals, and then we're going to go into MLP.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep this somewhat short. And so if we start going longer than we should, we're going to break it up into two parts.
There may be a part two.
Yep. There may be a part two. So just keep that in mind. But first, we're going to start with PPA Finals.
Yeah.
So real quick, the PPA Finals was normally about the top 16 players.
Yeah.
Top 8, top 16. It was a different format where people could choose their own partner, and they had a round robin or a pool play, and then the top 2 teams from each pool would go on and play in the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so it was exciting.
Also, during the PPA Finals, normally with PPA tournaments, they have amateur tournaments there.
Yeah.
This PPA Finals, there was only a very small set of pros that were there. And they also had an amateur tournament going.
Yeah, they did.
But it was a very small set of pros. It wasn't like the full...
No, it wasn't. Yeah,
thing.
So there's 16 men, 16 women. And essentially those 16 were the ones that made it. I can't think of any that made it in mixed that didn't make it in men's or in gender. There were
Colin Johns. He didn't do mixed. He was just doubles.
Yeah, he was doubles. I'm trying to think.
Julian Arnold. There were
that's
a couple.
what I'm saying. There
were a couple.
Yeah. And then in singles, there was a few, obviously. Christian Alshon, Connor Garnett are guys that only made it in singles. And then on the women's side, there was a few.
Okay, what was the feeling, the sentiments around that format? Did people like it? Was it entertaining?
I think they did. So here's the thing that's entertaining about it is, we can just go down the list. We can start with, for example, mixed doubles, right? Ben and Annalie lost.
They lost in pool play.
They lost in pool play to James and Anna, 11-8, 11-8. But it's pool play. So in a normal tournament,
they'd be out.
They're out.
Yeah.
But James and Anna beat them. And then they were like, well, it's pool play. Mm-hmm. So they're actually able to win their next 2 and advance out of their pool. Here's a couple things just backing up real quick. So I didn't like how they put the 2 best teams in the pool against each other in the first match.
Yeah.
Like, I think it should have been 1 and 4, 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't play the second best team in your pool first. Mm-hmm. But what I did love is it's 8 o'clock in the morning. We know Ben's a slow starter, but it's 8 o'clock in the morning and you're not watching Ben and Colin beat up on qualies. You're not watching, it's not 1:00 before we're getting to really good matches. Every single match was like a semi.
Yeah.
Like every match felt like a semi with the level of play. So that was one thing that was super fun to watch. So we'll start with mixed.
Okay.
So James and Anna end up beating Ben and Annalie in their pool.
In 2 games.
And honestly, I'm gonna pull it up exactly here, but James was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his counters were.
And that was the James that I thought we would have been seeing for most of this year.
Yeah.
Because this is their first time ever beating Ben and Annalie.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you can count it as a win because it's pool play.
Well,
do you count that as a win?
I think you have to count it, but I think that there wasn't as much on the line because it was in pool play.
Yeah.
Because then once they got to the bracket play, Ben and Annalie did what Ben and Annalie do, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, this is the thing, the theme of the weekend is we saw upsets trickled throughout because of the pool play, but in the end, it was the usual suspects.
Yep.
So we'll go. So here we go. We'll go mixed doubles here. So those pools, Anna and James came out of one pool, and then Ben and Annalie came out of the other. And Anna and James went undefeated in their pool, which is impressive, right? And then the other pool, Matt and Lucy and Georgia and J-Dub come out of it.
Yep.
So Anna and James are actually the 1 seed, and they end up getting to play Georgia and J-Dub, and they lose. So you lose. Like, that's the craziest part about it. So you beat Ben and Annalie, come out of your pool, and then you end up losing to Georgia and J-Dub. And then same like Matt and Lucy, right? You get out of your pool, but then you have Ben and Annalie sitting there. But because they lost, they're actually the 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so Matt and Lucy, who were the 1, end up having to play Ben and Annalie. Had they won, they would have got James and Anna, which I think they would probably want that matchup better.
Yeah.
And so, again, Ben, AL win. They go to the finals.
Was there any drama in the mixed doubles?
Not really. I mean, Ben and Annalie really just rolled through Matt and Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really much drama there. James and AB played the Johnsons tough.
Mm-hmm.
It went 3. I think it was 11-9 in the third. And then you get to the championship, I guess. Is that what we're calling it?
And that was 3 out of 5, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was, I believe it was 3. It was 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
So it ends up being 3-0 for them, which is, I mean, take the drama out of it.
Yep.
And Ben and Annalie get their first check mark on their way to Triple Crowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I liked it.
Do you think they should expand it to more teams or just keep it as is?
No, because I think if you expand it to more teams, you end up watering it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the one thing that was cool, is that it was like I said, every match was a insane semi.
Yeah.
It felt exciting. But if you expand it, it waters it down, and it feels like just a regular PPA event. So if you're going to have it as the finals and you got to qualify, then you got to keep it how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was fun leading up to the finals, and then like on Sunday, it was the usual suspects.
I heard. So I had some people messaging me while they were there, and they said Matt Wright's mixed doubles match against Riley was pretty entertaining. Did you see that?
Yeah, so Matt and Riley, I mean, they do what Matt and Riley did, right? And they chirp and they chirp and they chirp.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a rivalry there now because obviously we all know that Riley dropped Matt. But here's the weird thing. Go back and watch that match.
So I went back and watched that match because I wasn't watching it live, and it's there, but there's no audio.
There's zero audio.
There's no audio.
They took the audio out.
Why in the world would they do that?
Protecting Matt Wright. Or Riley Newman.
Uh-huh.
I'm curious about this.
Yeah.
Like, why would you take the audio out of that? I think that if you say it in the public forum, like, leave it there.
Yeah.
Like, why would PPA protect them?
Yeah.
That is weird to me.
That's very weird.
And
very
I think,
suspicious.
Yeah.
Very suspect.
It did. It felt suspect. And I'm like, look, we were all there. We all heard it. Or if you watched it live, you heard it.
Yeah. I heard it was insanely entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, they're just chirping nonstop. But Riley, okay, so we'll get to it in a second. But yeah, Riley and Matt, they're never going to see eye to eye on anything, right?
It's because one's taller than the other.
Yeah. One has more hair. One's taller. One is a lawyer. The other one was a Division III basketball player. So I don't even know if that counts. But they just go at it. Like those two. And I like it. Like, I think it's good for the sport to a degree. Mm-hmm. Right. And we'll get into that a little bit later because Colin Johns clearly doesn't. But it's weird that the PPA cut the audio.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So Ben and Annalie win mixed.
Okay.
So let's go men's.
Okay.
So men's doubles, because this is where it got really interesting. So men's doubles, I commentated several matches in men's doubles. Mm-hmm. I heard the audio was low. I'm sorry. I don't even know how to fix that. Or I literally walked into the venue and they were like, can you go get with Scott Crandall right now? And I went straight there. I didn't even see the venue the first day. Mm-hmm. Didn't even know what direction I was going because I commentated from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So my favorite match, and you and I have talked about this, Ben Johns, Colin Johns, against Deckel Barr, Tyson McGuffin.
Yep.
On paper, you're like, oh, it's okay. Normal match. First serve of the game, Deckel drops the ball from up here, and he hits his serve. I'm talking, he's probably...
Drop serves it?
He just, he drops it from up here. He didn't drop serve it, but he hits it. Okay. Makes contact.
Yeah.
Probably chest high.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it was a little lower, but it was high.
Setting the tone right off the bat.
And he unloads on the ball.
Uh-huh.
You know, we've all seen Deckel. Falls 15 feet into the court, and Colin struggles with it. Yeah. The return, and he looks over at the ref, and he's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And the ref was like, just kind of shrugs, and Deckel almost laughed, because Colin and Deckel are friends. Mm-hmm. Deckel just kind of laughs. So we're, 5 points in. Mm-hmm. And Colin is just getting more and more heated. He misses a return. Mm-hmm. Colin actually, he didn't whiff, but it like rolled up his paddle where he couldn't even return it.
Yeah.
So he's chirping at the ref. Tyson is on the other side. Tyson is known to have a pretty borderline questionable serve. So now he's serving huge. Uh-huh. So what does Ben do? Ben actually looks at me and he kind of smiles and he's like, well, and so Ben starts serving huge.
Yeah.
And he's serving.
And when Ben wants to, he can serve massive.
Huge. I mean, I'll say this. The serves that Ben was hitting were bigger than Deckel's and Tyson's.
Yeah.
And so now you have 3 of the 4 in the court trying to hit the biggest serves that you have ever seen in pickleball.
Yeah.
Hard. I mean, so Scott Crandall, I'll text him and see, but he's slow-mo'd a couple of Ben's serves. And Ben was actually really close to actually being legal, but he was hitting just massive serves. Yeah. And, you know, now Deckel's complaining about Ben's serve.
Yeah.
So the ref looks at Deckel. Deckel complains about Ben's serve. The ref looks at Deckel and says, I saw it good. Mm-hmm. And Ben looks at her and says, no, it wasn't good, but you're not going to call it, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And so they just kept, I mean, it was for 2+ games of them just ripping. I mean, go watch it. Just them ripping 2 of the biggest serves you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was like a clinic. And then Colin, oh, poor Colin. Colin goes to hit a couple of big serves, trying to get in on the action.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoop. Colin, even when he tried, he did hit the net once, but like he just couldn't get involved. It's like, you know, it's like everyone's
big boys at the table.
Yeah, it's like everyone having like you're playing horse with your buddies.
Yeah.
And everybody's like hitting deep threes or doing cool stuff. Yeah. Colin's doing like he's freaking doing this, getting right on the basket in layups. Like that's all he was doing.
Tyson and Deckel actually won the first game, right?
Yeah, they won the first game. And honestly, it felt like Ben and Colin were almost proving a point in that game where they were like Ben was ripping balls into the net. Mm-hmm. He was just pissed. He was annoyed. And then they ended up coming back and winning the next 2. Mm-hmm. But what was funny is, you know, they just like at one point, I think it was middle of the second game, you know, Ben just hits another massive serve. And Alan Roman, of course, it's Alan Roman, the ref. Alan loves the airtime. Remember, Alan Roman's the one they called the foot fault on Leia.
Yeah.
In that tight match with Annalie. That still nobody's really sure is a foot fault.
Yeah.
But Alan Roman calls Ben, not Deckel, not Tyson, calls Ben for an illegal serve.
Of course.
Yeah. And Ben started like laughing, like, of course it's me.
Yeah.
So then later he calls Tyson for an illegal serve.
Nice.
And Tyson's like, what? Me? Never. And so finally, then that kind of calmed things down. And the Johns brothers, just took it. But it was a fun match to watch. The other match, Riley Newman, Thomas Wilson against J-Dub and Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Riley is chirping at Julie Johnson and Cindy Frazier. They're next to each other.
Okay.
The entire match. Every single ball he hit, every winner, he looked over at them and made a comment.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
Were they saying something?
No. They were cheering. At the beginning, they were cheering, I'll say, not loudly for their boys. Mm-hmm. They were just cheering for their kids.
Sure.
They had their 2 boys on the court. And Riley was annoyed. And so every point, he would look over and he would say something. Mm-hmm. He'd hit one down the middle, and he'd be like, tell him to squeeze middle. He would, hit an overhead put away, and he'd be like, oh, he kept saying too fast. He'd win a hands battle, he'd be like, too fast. Yeah. But he would look right at them and say it.
Yeah.
And it was the entire match. They end up winning. Riley and Thomas win. After the match, he gets to the net, he looks over, and he tells them, thanks for your support, and walks off.
Classic.
I mean, insane. So I think this brings up a good question.
Okay.
Who's the number 2? Is Riley number 2 or is J-Dub? In your opinion?
That's a great question. I would say Dylan.
You think Dylan's number 2?
Yeah.
I met Dylan's mom and dad.
They're nice.
They watch the pod.
Nice.
Big fans of the pod.
Yeah.
Dylan's mom is like look. Should we zoom in on who's calling?
Who is that?
Rafa Hewitt in the house. Sweetheart. Just the kindest person.
I don't know. I feel like, honestly, the 2 through 5 are fairly interchangeable.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on any given day, J-Dub could be up there. Riley's the thing with Riley is his defense is insane. It's probably the best out of anyone on the tour, even Ben's. Yeah. His defense. But where he lacks is maybe his power.
He doesn't have power, and I feel like his speed ups, while they're good, he telegraphs them.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Like the two hand is very.
And J-Dub is great, but I mean, there's times where he misses quite a few shots here.
You remember what I said, that Dylan should be on the left.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Dylan's up there too, yeah. So I think you're right.
It's tough to say. I mean, all those guys are obviously top players. And I think honestly they're interchangeable, to be honest.
Yeah. So men's doubles, there's battles back and forth. So then we get to the men's doubles semis, and it's Matt and James against Riley and Thomas.
Yep.
And the chirping continues.
Yep.
And they're just going at each other, and James and Matt blew a freaking big lead.
Both games.
Both games,
they were up like 5-0 or something like that.
Yeah, one game, 8-1, 8-2, 8-3, and they blew it in both games. So. And there's our audio. Does the audio exist in that one?
I don't think they've released that one yet. At least I haven't seen. They can't cut the audio from that one as well. I don't think from what I heard, the chirping wasn't as bad in that one as it was in the mixed doubles.
It was there though. It was definitely there.
I heard the mixed doubles was really.
Yeah, I mean it was bad. Yeah. Trust me, it was bad. But yeah. So that one. So then Thomas and Riley end up making the finals against Ben and Colin. Yeah. And Thomas Wilson, dude, he played great all weekend. By the way, I think he's Riley's best partner, best chance. He played really well, but again, Ben and Colin are just too much. Yeah. And they end up winning. So now Ben, leg number 2, Triple Crown.
What he's done is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Women's
doubles.
We'll go through it quickly. There was some controversy. I heard a rumor. We love rumors.
We love rumors.
So one of the pools,
pickleball rumors.
One of the pools had Anna Bright and Vivian David, Leia and Jade, Irina and Yana, and Lucy and Callie. Okay, so real quick, Lucy and Callie were playing. This was funny to me. Lucy and Callie were playing Leia and Jade. Okay, and Leia hits a ball that was out, and she said something like asking. It was just a question.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucy said, no, it was way out. You know, like Lucy does, because
Yep.
Lucy's very funny and emphatic. And Leia looks to the ref and says, hey, was it out? And he says, no, it was way out. And literally quotes exactly what Lucy said. Which at the time was funny, not like the most professional thing. And
Was it Alan Roman? Or?
It wasn't, but Leia looks at it, like Leia like is kind of walking back, turns around and says, no, you just say it's out. You don't need to, like, she's like, you can just say yes or no. You don't need to add the other stuff. And she's not wrong about that.
Yeah.
But it was just like, anyways, it was just kind of a funny moment. Lucy and Callie ending up pulling that one off. That was a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
But so all those ladies are 1-1, okay? So Anna and Viv are 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Irina pulls out because she doesn't feel well.
And she had already played a game?
She'd already played. So sorry, they'd already played 2 games. So she
Okay.
pulls out of the 3rd game, which would have had Lucy and Callie
Yeah.
get an automatic. But essentially, Lucy and Callie would have got a forfeit win.
Yeah.
And that actually would have knocked out Leia and Jade.
Yeah.
And the rumors going around the facility were that Irina pulled out so Leia wouldn't advance because she was already 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
And if she pulls out and they get 11-0, 11-0,
Yeah.
then Leia doesn't advance because of point differential.
Yeah.
And because Irina was sick, she was still at the facility.
Uh-huh.
She was hanging out. She was there for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
She was actually watching the match. She should have been like on the court. And so that was the kind of the rumor that, you know, she was just trying to make sure that Leia didn't advance. Well, PPA actually did something. They did a good thing, and they threw out Irina and Yana's results, which made Leia was 0-1, Leia and Jade at the time, if you throw out their results. And the other 2 were 1-1. So had Leia won, it would have been a 3-way tie for 1-1. And then they would have gone to point differential. But Leia and Jade ended up losing to Anna and Viv.
Gotcha. In a 3rd game. Yeah.
3rd game, close 3 game. And so, but it was interesting that Irina allegedly tried to throw it to Leia.
Yeah.
What's up with pickleball players being sick and pulling out so much? Someone asked me that question.
Well, also, a lot of rumors were speculating as well with Riley. And was it Pablo and Fed?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. So Riley was playing.
And we don't know if that's true or not.
The only reason I'll say that the Riley one I don't think is true is because I called that match and they were fighting on the court.
Yeah.
Riley actually said something to Fed that was, I won't repeat, but it was, I mean, we'll say it was borderline. I mean, racist is the only way to say it. Maybe racist isn't the right word, but offensive.
Yeah.
And then they argued about calls, and 2 of the calls. So Pablo called one out, and he looked over at us, and the replay showed that it was really close. It looked like it was probably in. And then Fed called one out, and our replay wasn't great. And so they called line judges in. So Riley and Thomas wanted line judges for the rest of the match. So you literally had like 8 refs walk in. It was crazy. I don't know.
Single file?
Yeah, like single file. They spread out.
Yeah.
They stand behind when you're serving, and then they spread out after you serve.
Yeah.
It was so funny, but I don't know why they do that. They don't do that for all championship matches.
Yeah.
But so I just feel like if Riley was trying to throw it, so to speak, because that would have knocked J-Dub and Dylan out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if he was trying to throw it, then why would he call in line judges and do all that? Like he was chirping hard, and he was, you know, they played hard.
Yeah.
So it's like the guy that is betting against his team, but then he drops 40.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was, I mean, it's great. And then, so of course, Ben and Colin win men's. Women's, Annalie and Catherine stay undefeated.
Man, they're tough.
Yeah. I mean,
Who's beating them?
No, nobody. Right now, nobody.
I think there's a couple potential partnerships that could rival them.
Who beats them?
Anna Bright.
And who?
And Catherine, assuming Catherine doesn't play with Annalie. So whoever Annalie plays with, Anna Bright and Catherine could possibly give them a run.
So if we go top 4, we'll say top 4 women, okay? If the 4th female is, I think it's Vivian David or Jackie Kawamoto, okay?
Interesting.
Say, we'll just, I mean, it really doesn't matter who it is. Say it's even, I mean, I think it's like the men. It could be interchangeable, right? Mm-hmm. It could be Leia. It could be Jade. It could be Etta. It could be Megan, Dazan.
I think Etta could stand a chance.
So if it's so do Etta and Annalie lose to Anna, Bright, and Catherine?
I think it would be a lot closer. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I'm not going to say lose, but it would be very close.
So can Anna, Bright, and Etta beat Catherine and Annalie?
I would say no.
So yeah, who can beat if they're playing, and they're playing together next year?
Yeah. So
no one's touching them.
Annalie went undefeated. Well, whoever played with Annalie, they went undefeated. They
went undefeated, but
because she rotated partners.
Yeah, but her and she was 50-0 or whatever it was. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So they win women's, and then you go to singles.
Singles for men was crazy.
So men's singles was nuts.
The pool one with Ben Johns, Christian Alshon, Connor Garnett, and Jay DeVilliers.
Yeah, so poor Jay goes 0-3 with a minus 40-point differential. He was
But I talked to him today, and he said that he had match point on Connor Garnett.
Yeah.
And then he had game points on Alshon or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he was just in a tough pool. But Connor Garnett beats Ben.
Yep.
And then,
but he doesn't even make it out of pool play.
He doesn't get out of pool play, no. And then Alshon.
Would you rather beat Ben and not make it out of pool play?
100%.
Or lose to him but make it out of pool play?
It's hard because, no, I would rather win it. I would rather try to win the whole thing.
So you'd rather lose to Ben and get out of
pool play. I mean, Christian lost to Ben, got out of pool play, and then made it to the finals.
Yeah.
And then almost beat him.
Yep.
Takes him to 3 games.
Yep.
So can I tell you a funny Christian Alshon story?
Tell us. You love Christian Alshon. I love Christian Alshon.
This is MLP. We'll move on to MLP in a minute. But after MLP, so a couple people were playing pickleball, and Caitlin Kerr, KK, sprained her ankle. Mm-hmm. So Tim Parks takes her to a CVS, I guess, to get some bandage or something. And Christian is there by himself. And he's walking out with a 12-pack of beer with his head down by himself, just going to drown his sorrows.
After single or MLP?
MLP.
Hey.
And that's the most Christian Alshon thing ever because you
can't knock him.
No, well, I'm saying the camera loves the guy whenever he's defeated.
Yeah.
Because he's so emotional.
Yeah.
And you know what else somebody told me? Someone was like, dude, why does your camera guy always focus on Christian whenever he's defeated?
Yeah.
Right? They're like, they always just go right to him. Well, it was a new camera guy this time. Mm-hmm. And he still went straight to him as soon as they lost. So,
hey, we have a new sponsor.
We do.
For this show.
We do.
One that we are super stoked on. Guys, have you heard
of new product?
All right, so what's been the most popular type of paddle within the past 2 years?
Carbon.
So give us a real quick explanation on carbon. So it looks something like this.
Yeah.
Can they see that right there?
Yeah.
But what is the downside with this?
The texture begins to wear a little bit.
So I have never played with this type of paddle up until maybe 1 to 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And when I would see people play with this type of paddle, I would always see Ben Johns and these other players go like that.
Yeah. It gets dirty. The texture gets so it has these little I don't know if the word is grooves.
Yeah. So they're very thin lines.
Yeah.
And when the ball hits it, it kind of smashes it.
Yes.
And up till now, there's been a few solutions for that. There's been erasers that you can scrub on it.
Yeah.
But guess what those erasers do?
They damage it.
They damage the paddle, and it actually makes the texture a little bit worse.
It wears it off, right?
Down.
Yeah.
And so this new company, Paddle Reset is what they're called. Reset. You spray this on.
Should we do it? Okay. We're going to do it. Demo
You spray this on. And they also have a microfiber towel.
Ooh, that actually smells really good.
And you simply
wipe it off.
Dude, and it's all gone.
Wait, it legit looks brand new.
And it looks brand new right there. And you can do that in between games, and it literally works, and it makes it feel it.
Oh, yeah.
Feel the backside.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
All the grooves are cleaned.
Yep.
It feels brand new.
Yep. So if you're looking to get the most spin, and this is legal, just like any other cleaner, anything like that, we have a code for you. I don't even know their website. It's resetpickleball.shop, and use code KOTC to check out this product. It's super economical. It's only like $15.
Yeah.
And if you use our code, you're even saving a few more dollars off that.
Yeah.
And you don't need to replace your paddle every 2 months.
And how long does that last, right? Like
exactly.
So yeah, restores surface texture, strips impacted residues, and resets spinning control.
Yep.
I like that motto. Play hard, play clean.
So go check it out at resetpickleball.shop and use code KOTC. Thank you for your support. It's an incredible, very innovative product, and it's going to help your paddle last a lot longer, so you don't need to be spending $200-$300 every 3 to 4 months.
Love that. That's awesome.
Thank you. And continuing on.
Yes. So I think we need to move on to singles Ben wins, singles Annalie wins. They both get triple crowns. Yay, Hercules. Everybody's excited. But there was a little bit of controversy between Colin Johns and Julian Arnold. Okay.
So these two have been known for quite some time to kind of chirp, bicker, beef at each other.
Yeah.
And so once again, they were playing. And was this in the tournament or in pool play?
Yeah. So it was in pool play.
Okay.
So Colin sat down on the bench, excuse me, and Julian like threw a ball at him on the bench, like told him to go get it. And they just like, I don't know, they just kept going back and forth and they're just trash talking. And so Colin in his interview basically says he's the biggest clown on tour.
He says it.
Which is crazy.
Because a lot of people allude to that, or they'll say.
Well, we've been saying that. I've been saying that for months, just to be clear.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different coming from an active player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, you see it from the guy.
Yeah,
he's breaking paddles. He's not being with his team at MLP, right? Like, he's just. I don't know what's going on with that guy. So then he releases a statement. I'm gonna read his statement.
Colin releases.
Colin Johns posted this on Instagram.
Yep.
The events that unfolded on Saturday show that Julie and I are simply not cut from the same cloth. If you think it is acceptable to be a blowhard bully who consistently talks trash, screams at, stares down, and taunts the opposition, I cannot disagree more with these sort of actions. Anyone who has observed him compete can attest to a consistent lack of respect for the opposition and surrounding individuals. So just to be clear, he called him a blowhard bully.
Okay.
Right? Now we know Julian. Mm-hmm. He likes to yell. He's the andiamo, even though he's not Italian. Mm-hmm. He's that guy, right? He feeds off of the energy. So then he goes on to say, I personally welcome some back and forth during the heat of battle, but complete lack of respect and over-the-line behavior is not professional and reflects poorly on the sport and the individual. I was taught a different set of values, which include, he was homeschooled, so his parents must have raised him right. Was Colin homeschooled?
Who?
Colin? They were all homeschooled, weren't they?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Which includes sportsmanship and a level of respect. I attempt to live up to those on and off the court. That being said, I will not tolerate being bullied. So if you're not prepared to deal with the repercussions of your actions, don't act like a clown. I refuse to take such abuse lying down and will respond when necessary. Also, Colin goes hard on this.
Colin does not stop.
Also, if you want to talk a big game and strut around with complete arrogance, at least back it up with some on-court game. Clearly, it doesn't bother us or the competition too much when you limp into the finals in one division and one of the last spots. Sportsmanship, respect, and a level of humility are the values I will continue to attempt to embody and will hold strong against actions that run counter to those principles for the duration of my career. Colin Johns.
Thoughts?
Wow.
We thought you had a lot of hot takes.
That was interesting. A few things, okay? One, I do think Julian is way over the top sometimes. I think it's wild. Based off of his results, he does not have the room to talk the trash that he does, okay?
He's got the contract too.
But he has the contract too and the Mercedes too. However, Colin, my man, you cannot talk about results when you get to play with the best player in the world. Because, again, I mean, what are your results without baby bro? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go at him for his chirping, and you can go at him for his, stupid andiamo, and for his, stupid facial hair and how he looks like, like, I don't even know. But you can do all of that. Okay. But to talk about his level of play when you get to play with Ben Johns is, in my opinion, like, maybe leave that part out.
Mm-hmm.
If Ben were to say that, then it's a little bit different.
Yep.
Right? But the right side king himself, who straddles the out of bounds line, probably should leave the results out of it. But yeah, I love that he said something, because you know why? Because Julian's going to be that much louder next tournament.
You think?
Yeah, 100%. You think that's going to silence? Nobody silences Julian Arnold, except for maybe Lauren. What do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
I would agree 100% with what you said. I would agree 90% with what Colin said. I mean, it's fine. I mean, there's people who have those personalities and stuff like that. Me personally, I don't love it. I love energy, but when you're doing it, if you are doing it in a negative way or trying to detract your opponents or something like that, I just don't like that. But speaking of the results, I think that is a little bit interesting. Because when Colin hasn't played with Ben, he has not had the best results.
Yeah, so. And you can't be like limping into the final.
Yeah,
you still made it, even whether you limp in or limp out.
Yeah,
he did. I'll give him some. Trust me, I don't want to give the guy any credit, but I will give him some credit.
You want to hear about the biggest loser?
Yeah,
me.
Why?
I think I was number 17 on PPA, so they took top 16.
Yeah.
And then for MLP, they took the top 4 teams, and my team was number 5.
Oh my gosh.
1 away.
You were 1 spot away.
Yeah. So
speaking of MLP,
should we get into MLP?
Let's talk about the MLP. So MLP piggybacked right off. Like, PPA ended at 6 p.m. And at 6:01, they were transforming it to MLP.
Yeah. I heard they're really cutting costs there with the food selection. I heard their VIP status, they had like some Costco candies.
I mean, to call it VIP, yeah, it was, MLP.
Hey, they got to cut budget.
Just to be clear, PPA had the Halloween candy too.
Uh-huh.
I think MLP they said, just leave the bag. Like, for the next
Save us some.
Yeah, for the next day, MLP was like, yo, just leave the bag. I'll just say that the sandwiches didn't have meat. Okay, like, let's just
some bread.
It was bread and cheese.
Yeah.
They were, yeah. I mean,
you got to make it through till the end of 2023.
Yeah, for those of us that grew up a little bit poor, like, we know what it's like to eat government cheese and SpaghettiOs, and that's where it was. So, yeah. So MLP, we'll just go challenger just for a second. Black Bears played the Shock. It was bittersweet.
And by the way, Jimmy is the president.
I am. My title is president and general manager of the California BLQK Bears.
Okay.
Which, just call them the Black Bears.
So I tuned into that, and you guys had a good lead.
So our women came out and just put it on them.
Yep.
They did what they did. They put it on them. We get to our men's match, and our men, they seem to struggle a little bit. They haven't played a lot together. Obviously, Cassidy was new, and he's a lefty. And so I felt like Paylette wasn't sure what balls he should take and what balls Rob should take.
Yep.
Because he was letting Rob take balls because Rob's a lefty, and so it's Rob's forehand, but it was also Eric's forehand, right? And so there was some miscommunication there. They end up dropping that. But we get into our first mixed match. We go down 6-0, okay? Come all the way back, and we go up 18-15. And we were rolling. And it feels like, okay, we're going to win this. Worst case, force a dream breaker. And we lose 6 straight points.
Yeah.
6 in a row in rally scoring. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
And lose 21-18.
Why did you not call a timeout?
We did.
Do you only have 1 per match, or is it 2?
Only 1.
Okay. I thought you had 2.
Yeah, they only gave us 1.
Yeah.
Is what I was told. But you get 3 challenges.
Oh, you should have used the challenge
on something random, just to use it as a timeout.
Yeah.
I know.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm not the coach, Jason Perry. And so then our next mixed match, We ended up losing. We go lose 3-1. Season's over for the Black Bears, but proud of them. They fought hard.
And you guys ended what, as number 3?
Yeah, essentially number 3. I mean, we'll say number 3. Like we were actually second in points, but we'll say 3 just because the Shock.
Say second.
Well, the Shock beat us.
Yeah, but if you're second in points.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a super final. But we were top 3, and then we get to the finals, and this is a true story. So
what do you mean we get to the finals?
I mean, sorry, the next day is the finals.
Yeah.
Challenger finals. We, as in everybody that watched. We go to the Challenger finals. There's a group of us that were going to a place called Magic Castle in Hollywood. And Richie was really worried about traffic. And he was like, we got to leave early, and we're talking about that, okay?
Yeah.
This is totally random. But he says, let's leave after, like as soon as we can. I was like, okay. So the Challenger finals go. And we're watching. Mm-hmm. And that Challenger final, the entire thing was like 35 minutes.
Yeah. They won 3-0.
3-0. Yep. Done. Like the hard eights.
So Tim Parks came on our podcast, 2-3 months ago?
Yeah.
And he predicted.
He did.
That they were going to go undefeated.
He did. And not.
But he had a couple blemishes, or what's the word?
Well, he had an asterisk just because obviously that.
Because the finals was top 4 teams.
Yeah, so it's like this, okay? In a strike-shortened season, right? Like, for example, the Spurs won a title in 98 in the strike-shortened season.
Yeah.
Baseball had the strike in 94, right? NFL's had a strike-shortened season. LeBron won a title in the bubble.
Yeah.
Like, do those count the same as a full title? Because that's basically what Tim Parks did.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? He won a title, but it was in a strike shortened or a bubble. It's like for winning a title in the bubble.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
A little bit different circumstances.
Yeah. I just don't know if you really can feel like you can like actually hang that banner with like full pride.
Yeah.
Like you can be proud of your team. But in that finals, let me just say something really quick. Todd Vogt. Like, I like Martin Emmerich. I think he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm. I'm playing with Todd next year.
You are?
First few
So I like Martin. I think Martin's a really good guy. Todd Vogt ate his lunch.
Yeah.
He whipped his ass.
Yeah.
He was hitting that freaking backhand punch, and it was like Martin had never seen it before, and it was 15 times in a row, and he was never ready for it, and Todd was just dominating him.
Yeah.
He won MVP. Todd won MVP.
Yeah.
Over CJ.
CJ Klinger.
I mean, it was insane. Like, Todd was on fire. So, good for the Hard Eights. Congrats to Rick Chan. I really like Rick. He's obviously the true leader of that team.
Yeah.
Tim Parks is Tim Parks. I think that he has a role.
He has a role.
I think he's more like like he's the guy that cashes the checks, but they don't actually take his input.
Yeah.
Clearly, that team was built by Rick Chan and Adam Stone. So, good for them. Hard Eights win Challenger.
Okay.
Premier.
Buckle up. Buckle up. But first.
Let's do it.
Who is this?
Crown Pickleball. Our guy.
Our first sponsor ever.
The OG of OG sponsors.
They make a great ball. They are not indestructible, but they will last much longer than the competition.
Yes.
Anything else, Jimmy?
No, I love Crown. I use them. Some guy walked up to me at the tournament, okay, and he said, Jimmy, love the pod, big fan. He goes, I have been using Crown from the beginning, and he said, I never knew what that fuzzy ball syndrome was. He's like, I didn't even know what that was. And then I realized I was playing with Franklin's and Duras, maybe I'm not allowed to say other balls, and he's like, and I realized that it had that fuzzy ball syndrome.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Crown doesn't do that. Or it takes longer for them to do that. And he's like, I never realized that I was even playing with balls that were doing that. Thank you for putting me on to Crown. Big fan.
What is their website?
Crown Pickleball.store.
There we go. And use code KOTC to check them out.
Yeah. Also, you can look them up on Instagram. You can find them. Just search Crown Pickleballs on social media, Instagram. Super, yeah.
Okay, let's get into the premiere. So once again, the premiere was the top 4 teams in MLP.
Yeah.
And then they had everybody play a match.
So what they did was they had DC and Orlando won the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
so they
had
played a match.
They played each other. The winner got a trip to the finals.
Yep.
The loser basically got double elimination.
Mm-hmm.
So Orlando beats DC. Okay.
3-0, right?
Yeah. 3-0. Smacked them.
Yep.
Jackie and Jade, not their best day. Okay. So they smack them. So then we have Chicago playing Miami. Chicago, I mean, again, same thing. Rolled.
Yeah. I'm surprised they've had such success over Miami.
Yeah, I know. They rolled. So now we get to the next day.
And on Slice's team is Ben Johns.
Ben Johns.
Number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
And he has Jesse
Irvin,
Lacey Schneeman,
and Eric Lang.
Eric Lang.
So, and I'll get to Eric Lang in a minute. So, Slice play DC the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
DC goes up 2-0. They win
Yep.
Women's, they win men's. You think it's over.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, good for DC. Congrats. And all of a sudden, and then, okay, so it's 2-0. And then Ben sends Eric out instead of himself, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
Now, somebody said that Ben essentially was like, look, they got to win a mixed match either way.
Yeah.
So might as well send him out now.
Yeah.
Other people think Ben was throwing up the white flag. What are your thoughts on that? If you have a must-win game, do you send out Ben Johns against Riley Newman?
Yeah.
Do you send out Ben Johns or do you send out Eric Lang?
Normally Ben Johns.
Right?
Yeah.
But he sent out Eric Lang.
Yeah.
And what did Eric Lang do?
Eric Lang balled out.
He balled out and he beat, he not alone, but Eric Lang and Lacey Schneeman beat Riley Newman and Jackie Colorado.
What was the score?
I don't remember. I'll look it up.
Was it close?
It was like 17 or something.
Huh.
Yeah. So they end up winning that. And then Ben and Jesse, who I felt like were pretty automatic, Ben and Jesse win the next one, and it forces a Dream Breaker. Now, go look at the Dream Breaker.
And on paper, the Slice
Again,
are not a great Dream Breaker team, you would think.
Yeah. So now you're like, okay, well, DC's got this.
They have
Right?
Christian, Riley, who's played
Yeah.
singles before, and the Kawamotos.
Yeah. So you're thinking, okay, well, this is going to be, an easy one, right? So they went, let me see. Oh, it was Eric. It was 22-20 for Eric and Lacey. Okay. So they went 7 straight, players, changes of 2-2.
Yeah, they all split.
They all split 2-2. So now it was 1915. Christian versus Ben.
2016.
Well, it started 1915. Then it gets to 2016, right?
Okay.
I think that's what it was. The first point in that last one, the very first point was one of the best singles points I've ever seen. Ben hit an ATP.
Yep.
Christian defended it. Ben ends up winning the point to make it, And then it ends up, so it's 2016. It's on Christian's paddle.
Yep.
And he doesn't get it done. So now it goes to Jackie and Lacey.
Yep.
And it's 2018 when Jackie gets up there.
I think 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
And Lacey Schneeman gets it done.
Yeah.
She pulls it off, and the Slice upset DC to advance to the finals against Orlando.
Okay. Orlando.
So we get to the finals.
How did Kyle McKenzie take that?
Oh, I hope he took it hard.
He's a great coach, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. He should have called a timeout. Put himself in timeout. So we go finals. So now you're like, okay, well, the Squeeze just rolled DC 3-0. Squeeze have been the best team all year at this point. They're going to win this. And they go up 2-0. Same story. They go up 2-0. So now you're like, okay, well, that was easy, right? And I'm going to pull up just the exact scores so we have them here. All right. So they win 21-14 in women's, so smash them. And then they win 21-17 in men's. So now you're like,
Orlando does.
Orlando. So now you're like, okay, it's going to be another quick finals. In fact, I even said, what's ESPN2 going to do to fill the airtime?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because, I think they scheduled 2 hours for this.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? And so what does Ben do? He sends out Eric Lang again. He sends out Eric Lang and Lacey Schneeman again in a must-win situation.
Yeah.
And Eric freaking Lang and Lacey Schneeman beat Zane and Rachel Rohrabacher 21-18.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have Ben and Jesse against Deescu and Anna Bright. And of course, Ben, he wins it.
Yeah.
So we go to Dreambreaker. In the Dreambreaker, same thing. You're like, okay, Orlando has Anna. They have Rohrabacher. They have Deescu. They have Zane.
Deescu.
Yeah. And you're like, they're going to get this.
Yeah.
Freaking Chicago Slice.
Hey, it was Ben and I think you that said there would be a different team, or you wouldn't be surprised if there was a different team winning each MLP.
Yeah.
And that's the case.
And we had it. We had 3 different teams win. Yeah. The Chicago Slice win MLP. I need to be real about something, okay? I need to eat a little bit of crow. I said Eric Lang should not have been picked. I said that Eric Lang should have been in Challenger. Mm-hmm. I made a lot of things. And Eric Lang, in his defense, has always been very, very kind to me ever since I said those words.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Lang.
Look him in the face.
Props to you. Eric Lang. Big up to Eric Lang, because that was impressive. Freaking 2 mixed wins, but you're back against the wall.
Had he not had that result, you would be saying, I told you so.
Yeah, 100%. But he's Eric. The thing with Eric Lang is he is very easy to cheer for.
Yeah.
He's a likable dude. He had his daughter at the tournament. Like, he's a likable guy.
Yeah.
So he sent me a message on Twitter right after.
Mm-hmm.
And he said,
take that, Jimmy.
He could have said, take that, eat shit.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. You know what Eric Lang said?
What did he say?
He said, are you not entertained?
There you go.
So Eric Lang, congrats. Lacey Schneeman, MVP.
Yeah.
I think we're underselling how well she played too. But Lacey Schneeman played awesome. Jessie has like a freaking elbow. She can't even lift her arm right now.
I heard she has ankle braces on both her legs and then also an elbow brace.
Yeah, she said she's getting PRP on her elbow. She said literally she can't lift her arm. Like she's And so and then Ben's the GOAT. He continued to prove why he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
And just Slice win it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And that's the thing that is a little bit funny or comical to me is you hear all these people talk about how good JW or Riley or Dylan, all these other players are, and they're great. They're really good. But to be able to do what Ben has done time in and time out,
okay.
Impressive.
Let me tell you this. This is what I'll say, okay? I'm going to go to the PPA Tour rankings. All right, let me just pull them up here because I actually have an opinion on this. I think that Ben is ranked number 1 and Tyson is ranked number 10, okay? And Dylan, J-Dub, Matt, I think the gap between Ben and number 2 is bigger than the gap between number 2 and number 10. Maybe even bigger than the gap between 2 and 15.
How would you quantify that? Like, how would you be solving for that?
Well, I just think that Ben is, he's that much better. If you give Ben Johns anybody in the top 15, he beats any other team.
I don't think so.
You don't think that
if he plays with number 15 or maybe number 20 and you have Dylan and JW playing?
Do Dylan and JW beat Ben and Deckel?
Give me another one. Give me
AJ.
I would think, yeah.
Thomas is 14.
Hit and miss.
So I'm saying, I think that's how good Ben is.
Yeah.
Do Ben and Tyler Leung beat Dylan and J-Dub?
I think so.
Okay, that's 18.
Yeah, but that's because I'm lefty.
Okay.
Go 19 or 17.
Ben and Callan.
I think they would lose.
Okay, so we got to get to 20 for them to lose.
Yeah.
You know what about Ben and Christian?
I think they would lose to J-Dub and Dylan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I just think Ben's that good. I think he's
he's very good.
Yeah.
He is very good.
Yeah. So, big win. Congrats to the Chicago Slice. Isn't Chicago Slice like isn't Chicago known for like their
Deep fried?
deep dish
Deep
pizza?
dish? I don't know.
But
That
the
or
Slices
Michigan.
logo doesn't look deep dish.
I don't think it was this last one, but in Mesa and maybe Atlanta, they had a mascot. It's pretty cool. Just walking around, pizza guy.
The Slices.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they had a chef with a massive hat.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet. Like Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yes.
Oh, all right. So great weekend. Weather was phenomenal. Tyler, 65 degrees. Perfect weather. We had a lot of people. The Kims. Kim, I don't know their last name. Steven and Parham, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Huge fans. Kim's dad, Parham, big fan of the pod. Loves the pod. She said she would walk in and be like, what the hell are you watching? And then she would sit down and not be able to stop. They've donated to the pod several times.
They are awesome.
So shout out to them.
That.
They are awesome. Got to meet them. Got to meet a ton of people. Got to meet this guy from Canada.
Did he have chips for you?
He said he wanted to send me somebody who had the thickest accent.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how thick Canadian accents were.
Yeah. You better stop talking about Canada.
Have you ever seen Strange Brew?
No.
The movie?
No.
Oh, you should watch it. It's about Canadians.
Gotcha. I'll check it out.
They say A after every word.
A? All right. So we've talked about this before, but the best way to get a question, if you have a question you want us to talk about it, answer it, is if you donate money. But we've had a lot of people donate money. And so I don't want to guarantee that we're going to answer everyone's question. There's a very, very high chance that we will get to your question if you do donate. But I'm just putting this out there. It's not going to be guaranteed that we answer it. So with that said, we're going to go into the people that have donated. Patrick O'Connell.
Okay.
On YouTube, he donated $50.
Dude, what is happening?
I know.
This is amazing.
I know. He said, don't go soft, Jimmy. We need you wallowing the muck. God bless you. If you were betting in Vegas, who would be your top 3 pickleball pros you would choose to win a fight?
Oh, okay. I like this one. I'm going to say my number 1 is AJ.
Like street fight?
Yeah, street fight.
Okay, yeah. AJ?
I would say AJ. I would say DJ Young.
Interesting, okay.
He's a freaking unit. Like, that dude is jacked. He's just a big boy. And then, so part of me wants to go Deckel, but
I have an interesting one that you would maybe get on board with.
Okay, what's yours?
Retmeyer.
Oh, yeah, Retmeyer's been in
He's got that crazy.
He's been in some scraps, and the thing with Retmeyer is, like, he's got, like, just that, I bet he just snaps. And he's got that screw loose where he's red.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I bet Retmeyer's that guy that, like, he would probably rush you and, like, you drop him, but he gets back up, and he's just relentless. So, yeah, Retmeyer's probably tough. I'll give Retmeyer. So, let's go AJ, DJ Young, Travis Retmeyer, top 3 toughest guys in terms of
fighting. I would
be
number 4.
Well, you said you boxed like 13 years ago or something.
Boxing, I'm good. Yeah, wrestling, I'd get lit up.
Yeah, I mean, if we wrestled, like, I guess Tyson would have a chance because he was a wrestler, but yeah, I just feel like there's such a size difference between those guys that even if he tried to wrestle them. So those are my top 3. Okay. I like that question.
Thank you, Patrick, for your donation and support. Oh, by the way, this segment of the episode is brought to you by, who is this, Jimmy?
Acacia pickleball shoes.
Acacia shoes, yes. These are incredible. They had a sale, a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale going on that I think is still live, where if you purchase any of their shoes, you get free pickleball slides, like sandals. Yeah. Oh. Incredible. A great value, a $40 value free of charge if it's still going on. But regardless, these are incredible shoes. Super lightweight, super comfortable. I said I love the colors last time, and somebody laughed at me saying they're white and gray. I like muted colors. So they actually
You're wearing white right now.
I know, I'm wearing white right now. So I do like the colors on these shoes. Go check them out at acaciashoes.com and use code KOTC.
Yes, I wear those.
Okay, thank you, Patrick, also for your support. And we also have somebody else who donated $50 as well. Mm-hmm. His name is Sean McVeigh.
Oh, the coach of the Rams?
I'm not sure. I don't follow football.
Los Angeles Rams' name is Sean McVay.
Really? Should we just say it's him?
Yeah, we'll just assume Sean
Is he dating
McVay.
Taylor Swift?
Sean McVay is a huge fan. No, but he's married a very attractive female, yes.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you for your support and donation. Okay, next we have Russell Murray, who donated $20. Thank you, Russell. They said, have been watching you from the beginning and believe Jimmy has gone corporate, but I'll continue to watch.
Okay. Thank you, Russell, for the donation. Oh, it makes me laugh.
Okay, there were a couple others.
Listen, if there's not any controversy, there's not, like, I can create some and, but, let's pick and choose our battles a little bit.
Okay, there were a couple Tim Parks.
Yeah.
He needs to donate more for us to answer his questions. He wrote a novel for us to answer.
Tim Parks wrote a novel, but I think we should read some of them.
Okay. So Tim Parks, I don't know how much we want to shout him out, but Tim Parks, thank you for your donation. It was $100. Let's see.
Yeah, I got him right here. Should we?
Okay.
So we'll just go through them really quick because he has a couple good questions. Some of the other ones were.
Okay. First one, he said, "You're welcome for the $100 donation." Thank you, Tim.
By the way, $100 from Tim Parks would be like you dropping your change in the Salvation Army bucket on your way out of the grocery store. Just saying.
Add a couple more zeros, Tim. Come on. Just kidding. We appreciate it. All right. The first question was Tim Parks' prediction on his KOTC appearance that the Hard Eights would go undefeated in MLP Season 2 the greatest called shot since Babe Ruth pointed to center field before clubbing a home run in the 1932 World Series?
I want to know if Tim Parks had to Google what World Series Babe Ruth called his shot in. I bet he did. No, it wasn't. Again,
the third one was tainted a little bit.
Third one was tainted, but Tim, I will give you credit. That was impressive. Congrats to the Hard Eights. Rick Chan built a hell of a team.
Number 2. What are the top 5 MLP franchises, top to bottom, GM owners, team... All right, he goes off. GM owners, team name, logo, winning pedigree. If MLP hypothetically went pure free agency where money or draft luck played no role, what is the ranking of the top 5 MLP teams?
So I think this is a good question because there are MLP franchises that are like iconic in the short period of MLP.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of those is the Black Bears.
Okay.
Who's
the president of Black Bears?
This guy. But I think there's 2 different questions here, okay? There's 2 different questions. So one is like, what are the best logos? Like, what's the best like team organization? So I'm not going to put them in any particular order, and I'll leave the Black Bears out. I think they're clearly top 5 for a lot of reasons. I mean, they have the most championships. Mm-hmm. Richie is probably one of the,
How many does he have?
3, I believe.
Seattle Pioneers came close last season.
Yeah. So, but the squeeze, I mean, GM, right? Mm-hmm. Logo, merch, they have a ton of money. They have freaking Amway money behind them. Orlando Magic, the DeBoss family. I would say that
DC has to be up there somewhere.
DC's up there. I don't love DC's name or logo though, but Al Tylis obviously, but he does invest a lot into the team. So I'll go DC. I will put Tim up there because the Hard Eights, because as much as I don't love his logo, but I do love their name. Mm-hmm. And I do like the SoCal Hard Eights. I think it's cool. It should be Vegas Hard Eights, but and the colors are cool. And Tim is like, their ownership group loves pickleball.
Yeah.
And so I think that's huge. So those are 3. I'll put we'll just say Black Bears are one of them. So they're 4. And then I would say the 5th team, gosh, it's tough because the Chaffetz family is very
Hustlers, Aces.
I'm going to go Aces. I'm going to go Aces for one reason only.
Samin. Let's go, buddy.
Samin, but their new logo is sick.
Yeah.
Right? Samin is a pickleball guy, right? Like he loves pickleball.
He's a southpaw.
Yeah, like
not that good, but he's a southpaw.
But he's a good dude, and he loves it, and he gets pumped up, and like I've seen the like.
Do you know what he would do in practice?
Like the pregame speeches he gives you guys.
Do you know what he would do in practice? Like before the tournaments,
what?
He would literally give us money. He said, "All right, winning team gets $200 if you win this next point, or first one to 5 gets $500."
Yeah.
He would try to simulate pressured points.
Yeah, like that stuff like that. Like I like Samin. So I'm gonna go with the Aces. Okay. Now if there was just strictly free agency, mm-hmm. I mean, it's all about the relationships that you have with the players at that point. And so I think that the Black Bears would do really well in free agency. I think that Tim Parks would be a lock for Riley Newman.
Yeah.
I think the Black Bears or Richie would probably be a lock for Dylan Frazier. Ben would obviously be the swing vote. Who knows where Ben would go?
Yeah.
But it would be interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next, he said, who was the first person to reference Big Pickle in the context of their control over you and the pod?
Again.
Is it a shame that everyone now posting about Big Pickle on social media doesn't give him proper credit for this? ?
The first time I heard Big Pickle was from Tim Parks. Are you happy? Are you happy? And it was not. It was referencing the podcast. Let's just be clear.
Who would be your ideal commentator partner for the grandstand matches you announce?
That's a good question.
Not me.
No, I mean I think it needs to be like, you know who I actually think would be funny to do it with?
Who?
I think Riley Newman would be. I think Riley and I could have some good banter.
I feel like that's a very interesting
I think
suggestion.
Riley and I could have some good banter.
Have you spoken with him?
I mean, like, you know, we exchanged pleasantries. He was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich the other day, and we discussed if it was creamy or crunchy.
Okay. I'm surprised.
Do you go creamy? Are you a creamy or crunchy guy?
Neither.
No?
Neither. Probably creamy.
Choosy moms choose Jif.
Who is the best side court money game hustler at pickleball tournaments? Who is the best trash talker?
Well, I'm the best trash talker, and it's really not close.
But it doesn't mean anything if you can't back it up. Like, if people talk trash and they can't ever back it up.
Yeah, but you got to remember that this is like, these are 4-0 to 4-5 games, so everybody's pretty evenly matched. And
but I don't know if you fall in that 4-0, 4-5 category.
Oh, please, dude. I was the best player on that court. Me and Caitlin Kerr freaking beat Tim and Richie. We were rolling people. So here's the thing. Tim Parks and Richie and that crew, we'll just call it that crew, have some insane games, side hustle games.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're more exciting than the actual games going on.
Yeah.
Because they'll each, like, just for example, Megan Dazan and Tim Parks played Richie and Etta. Great match. Great match for a large sum of money. But the players aren't betting. The players just get like a portion of the winnings. So it makes it exciting. Golden Tate, former receiver of the Detroit Lions, Seahawks, he came and played with us.
Yep.
He's pulling out cash, wads of cash. These guys are, and it's actually a lot of fun. Yeah. I more spectated. I think I played 2 games all weekend, but.
Okay. I know Orlando lost in the super final, but all things considered, the combination how nobody else would have come close to taking her in that range, and also how she still massively outperformed her draft slot is Rachel Rohrbacher. The best draft pick in MLP history? ?
Man, he has some wordy emails.
He has 2 more questions too.
Yeah, I think she is. I think she's the best draft pick in MLP history at this point.
I was talking to somebody
in the short history of MLP.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say yes with MLP.
It's Rachel. Well, you know who else it could be?
Who?
Eric Lang.
Yeah.
He went dead last pick.
Yeah.
He just won 2 freaking mixed matches.
Yeah. I went dead last pick the first one.
Were you
Wait, no. I was psyched.
You like 44 or somewhere. Yeah.
But I think it's a little bit ironic or interesting how she's done extremely well in MLP, but she's played PPA tournaments.
It's done nothing.
And hasn't performed as well.
Yeah, I'm curious how her and Anna do next year, their partnership in PPA. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think MLP is just a different format I think that.
Do you think if PPA had rally scoring from the get-go, Ben would be nearly as dominant as he is now?
I mean, I think he's still 97%. Yes. Maybe those early matches, they'd get him.
Does it concern you that since you joined the staff of the winningest MLP franchise, they have failed to even make a final?
We made the freaking playoffs. Listen, when I was...
Are you worried about your job?
When I was hired, I'll be really honest.
This is Tim just roasting you right now. He's paying to do this, by the way. He's paying you money to do this.
When I was hired, okay, I was nervous. Right? I felt like I knew a lot about pickleball, but this is real money, real team, I mean, some of these team values are $10 million. Like, that's legit. And I know people are like, oh, they're not worth that. But I promise you they're worth that because they're worth whatever anyone's willing to pay. And that's what people are willing to pay. Okay? So I was worried. And we made the playoffs in the first event, and then we made the playoffs in the second event, and then we end up, going to the super. And so, like, for me, I feel like I accomplished our goal. Like, obviously, we want to win championships. We're not the Los Angeles Dodgers where we're gonna hang, runner-up banners. Okay, we want to win championships, but I'm happy for that first season.
You feel like you got it under your feet a little bit.
Well, I feel like I did. Yeah, like I want to win a championship. I'm not satisfied, but I don't think that like it was a total disaster.
Okay. All right. Last question from Tim Parks. Finally, have you ever considered having an episode where you do nothing but answer Tim Parks' questions?
We just had one. Go away.
All right. Next time. Okay. All right. Now we're going to get into some questions from you guys. Like I said, if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Normally 1 to 2 days before we do the video, we will ask a question on our Instagram story that you can respond to. Make sure to give us a like and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with when we release these podcasts.
Yeah.
Also, our last sponsor of this podcast today, C&D Pickleball Nets.
C&D.
What's their website?
The best pickleball nets.
Okay. These guys are awesome. They are
.com. bestpickleballnets.com.
I didn't realize this, but
they're the personal, but they are not the official net of MLP, but MLP chose those nets.
Yes.
Because they're the best nets.
MLP chooses C&D Pickleball Nets because they are the best.
And the APP, they're the official net of the APP.
And we have had over 5 people of our followers that have already purchased one of their nets. They love it. They buy them because they're sturdy, they're heavy duty. You will most likely never need to buy another net. They have a
10-year warranty.
10-year warranty.
Yeah. Dude, they're honest. Like, I know that we we hype crap up all the time. And I think that we pick really good products because we are approached by a lot of products, and we're very particular about what we use because we want it to be stuff that we're actually going to use.
Yep.
C&D nets are the best nets, bar none.
Temporary nets.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they're even better than like the ones that the poles go on the ground. And
sure.
Like they're you can call them temporary nets, but they're not really temporary.
More heavy duty, yeah.
Yeah, they're heavy duty. Like
but they can also move too because we went up to their factory and they had these wheels on it.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, Jimmy got his little 2 fingers right there.
Yeah.
And he was able to move the entire net.
Yeah, you can move the one, and the wheels aren't like the little cheap wheels that are gonna break. Like they're quality nets. I promise you will love the purchase.
Yeah.
I was watching tournaments obviously over the weekend, and I was looking at the nets, and I was like, yeah, like they're missing the boat on these. I know that money talks, but C&D just makes a far better net than the nets that were being used.
Yep. Anyways, thank you for your support, C&D Pickleball Nets. We love them.
bestpickleballnets.com.
Okay, we're going to go through a couple of these questions. We're not able to get to all of them, but let's see. Somebody said drop serve in pros. Why do we not see drop serve in pros?
Because they're coordinated. Do you know who drop serves?
Scott Moore?
Lucia.
Oh, boy.
She drop served.
Yikes.
Like, you're grown up. Don't drop serve.
Okay. Who are the people actually making decisions on where pro pickleball is going in the future?
Connor Pardo, Tom Dundon, and several MLP execs. I feel like they are more cohesive right now than they have been in a while. Just my own 2 cents.
How many players agreed to the cut by the December 1st deadline?
Chaos. We're going to have chaos.
Let's just say there was a couple extensions made.
There's a lot of extensions. There's a lot of behind-the-scene talks. There's a lot of negotiations. And we may see some things that we didn't expect. It's just chaos. Like, there's players refusing the cuts, just straight up being like, no, put me to work for 200 days.
Yep.
And then there's players that were like, yes, great, we're overpaid to begin with.
Yep.
And they immediately, and then there were players that literally fired their agents to get the 20% back from what they were paying their agents, which is kind of justice to you because you've always said agents, you don't love agents. So there's players that legit fired their agents, and then players that took a little bit less negotiations. There's players that haven't even heard from either side yet, and good players, like top 10 top 15 players, it's chaos.
Yeah. I thought by now we'd have more information, but there's still a lot of that.
There's not even a list. There's not even a list out there of who, like, who's sitting where at this point.
Okay, it's kind of like a comment or a statement. They said, no player asked their paddle sponsor to make an illegal paddle. They play with a paddle provided by.
I don't think they've ever asked for them to make an illegal paddle, but I promise.
Maybe say, give me a little bit more power. Give me a little bit more control.
I'm sure that they've asked. So I'll just give you an example. Tyra signed with Pickle, P-I-K-K-L, Pickle, and she was on the phone with her paddle sponsor, and they were just discussing certain things, and she wasn't like saying make it illegal, but she was saying, can you do this? Can you do this? Can we make these changes? And can we make this sweet spot bigger? Can we add an overgrip and an undergrip? Can we make the handle thinner?
Yeah.
Things like that. And those are the things that the paddle manufacturers will do for, a star player. And her paddle's sick, by the way. I used it this weekend. It's pretty dope.
Pop-Tarts or Oreos?
Oreos, for sure. What about you? Double stuff.
Oreos.
Have you had the mint ones?
Yeah.
Those are good.
Okay, we'll do like 3 more questions. Jimmy, why is Tim Parks a cheater?
Because he's freaking has an asterisk. I wonder if that person watched our matches too.
Whoa, where'd that go? I just skipped all the questions. Why can't Riley get the top mixed partners?
He did. He had Catherine. Right?
Yeah.
And because he's a dickhead. That's why. Like at some point you have to be nice to people. Don't you think?
Yeah.
And so like the eye rolls and the throwing your head back and all of that, like they don't want to play with him.
Okay, 2 more questions. Predictions for Jack Sock next year.
I think he's going to be solid. He gets to play with Catherine in mixed, and so I think that's really going to help him. He's going to look pretty good in mixed. Mm-hmm. We're not sure who he's going to play with in men's yet, right? Is it Riley? No, right?
No, somebody told me, I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't like a top 10 player.
Yeah, in fact, I think I was told Riley's playing with Thomas the start of the year.
Yeah. Not talking about Jack Sock yet.
Yeah. So I don't know who Jack Sock is actually playing with. We'll find out. But that's the thing is we don't know how he's going to do in men's. He's not playing with a top 10. With Catherine, he's going to have good results, but he's not going to beat Ben and Annalie.
Yeah.
So he'll be okay.
Depends on how serious he takes it, but from what everybody is saying, he's going to take it seriously.
Yeah.
I would imagine him doing well in singles.
Yeah, I think
singles. I think he should have a really good shot.
Yeah, I think he should be pretty good. He's long. He's athletic. Yeah, so
he hits the ball well. It'll be interesting because that paddle that he uses does not have
he uses
power.
That Lux.
Yeah,
hit it with a mattress. It's the same.
Yeah, but he himself has a lot of power.
Yeah, he can generate plenty of power. So. You see, Megan Dazan switch to Proton.
Yes,
officially.
Yep, she announced it. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I mean, it was a fun weekend. We missed you there. It's kind of a little bit ironic that I was there and you weren't.
I know.
Like, I went to a tournament. You weren't. Lots of people were asking, where's Tyler?
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean.
Not good enough.
Next year. Alex Hamner missed you.
Let's go.
Your OG, one of your OG partners.
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah, it was fun. You're off for a while.
Yes. I'm off to Hawaii.
Hawaii. What island?
Oahu.
Okay. Yeah, how long are you there for?
A week or so.
And then you don't play again till Masters?
Till Masters, but that's like 3-4 weeks away. It's coming up.
Yeah.
Second week in January.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Palm Springs.
It's
cold. It's still cold in January in Palm Springs.
In the morning and evenings it gets cold, but daytime it's great.
Yeah.
Normally.
The desert gets cold. They have the outlets there, by the way. They're nice.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, please do us a big favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. It does us a huge benefit. Pushes this content out to a bunch of new people.
Yeah.
Also, thank you to our title sponsor, The Pickler, and all our other sponsors throughout the show. We appreciate you.
Check it out, picklershop.com.
For your next paddle.
Yes.